So sexual reproduction will be seen in animals like humans and cockroaches, etc. For example. Hmm. While in the in the animal kingdom, we have asexual reproduction also that would take place via fission, via fragmentation, budding, or regeneration and spore formation. That would be commonly observed in the cases of organisms like bacteria, you have amoeba, you have hydra, you have a spirogyra, etc. You have fungi also. So those will be doing asexual reproduction. Getting it, guys? So further talking about sexual reproduction, how sexual reproduction is different from other types of reproduction. Like moments ago, as we were learning about two main types of reproduction, sexual and asexual reproduction. One basic thing is that both shares one basic thing that both whether it be sexual or asexual reproduction. Hmm? When sexual reproduction or asexual reproduction will be taking place, so thereby some or all of the parental DNA will be shared with the children, will be transmitted to the offspring. What I said that, like we humans, we get some of the parental DNA also. huh? Our DNA would match with our parents. The DNA of a child would match with the father and with the mother. Getting it? Because he has derived the DNA from his parents. Similarly, it would be observed in the case of organisms doing asexual reproduction too. They'll also be getting DNA from their parents. You guys are able to understand what I'm saying? By the way, all of you would be required to turn your cameras on in the class. Okay. All right now. So what I'm saying that both of them share one common thing, that both of them will be receiving some or all of the parental DNA, which is visible in the form of physical traits which we have. The way how we look, the color of the eye, the color of the skin, etc. Getting it? But it would be accomplished in different ways. We should be learning. It would be accomplished in different ways. Getting it? What I said moments ago. Hmm? Like in the case of sexual reproduction, what is happening over here? See, it would involve two parents, obviously, as we know, it involves two parents, one male and one female parent, right? And in reproduction, the we know fusion of male and female sex cells takes place. Like the male reproductive organ releases the male sex cell, that is sperm, and the female body has the female sex cell, that is the ovum. Getting it? Basically egg. So here there a fusion of the sperm and ovum is going to take place here. As you can see, like egg or ovum, and here you have a sperm, that is the male sex cells, and this is the female sex cells. They will be fusing together, and it will lead further to the formation of a zygote. Zygote is basically formed after the fusion of ovum and sperm. We'll be learning about it in detail later on. Okay, now, but as of now, get familiar with these terms. Now, zygote will further grow, and it will further grow into embryo, right? So in sexual reproduction, what I'm trying to say, explain here, that it will involve two parents, a female and a male parent, and here DNA will be shuffled. DNA is shuffled and it is cut in half amounts, meaning that offspring formed out of the mating of these two parents will be a combination of chromosomes from both the parents. I think you guys by now, if you guys would have studied about cells, you'd be aware about these terms like chromosomes and DNA, genes, all that. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me just give a
Yes,
quick,
sir.
quick. Let us quickly revise about this. What are chromosomes, DNA, genes? Let us understand it quickly. Okay, now see, you all know that the inside the cells you have, inside the cells you have a nucleus, right? Can anyone explain the structure of nucleus to me? Yes, explain nucleus. In simple manner, we say that it's a organelle found inside most of the eukaryotic cells that controls the activities of the cells, right? Just like
So,
inside your brain body, you have a brain. Just like that, you have a miniature version of brain inside the cells. Here, someone was saying something.
so the chromosomes are also present in the nucleus, right?
Exactly, chromosomes are present inside the nucleus only. Getting it now? So, say you have a cell over here. Inside the cell, in most of the animal cells, nucleus is located in the center. So this will be nucleus. Okay. Now inside the nucleus, if you were to look at the structure of the nucleus, over here you would be having, let me redraw this. See, you have this nucleus. Now inside the nucleus, you'll be having one more black spot. uh, that is called as nucleolus. Okay. That is called as nucleolus. Okay. This is nucleus, and inside this you have got nucleolus. Got this now? Okay. Now, if you were to zoom it out, here you will find there are some thread-like structures. There will be thread-like structures like this. Hope it is clear to everyone. Everyone can see what I'm drawing. This thread-like structure, guys, that you see over here now, we call them as chromosomes. What do we call them as? We call them as chromosomes. Getting it? And each cell in the human body, except for the sperm and ovum, has got 46 chromosomes, or we can say that 23 pairs of chromosomes are there. Like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like this, there would be how many? 46. So there are 46 chromosomes found in every cells of the body except for ovum and sperm. Keep that in mind. Like the cells in my skin, cells in my muscles, it all the cells apart from the sperm and the ovum cells in a human body, it has got 46 chromosomes. This thread-like structure that you are seeing, or you can say they are in 23 pairs. Same thing, right?
So, I
Clear to
have a
everyone
doubt.
so far? Yes.
So, sir, all the chromosomes and all the different types of cells take like act, or do they have a role in reproduction?
All the cells in the body.
Like different cells in the body, like their chromosomes.
No, no, no. Only the chromosomes found in the ovum and sperm have a direct role to play in a reproduction, since they will only be mating. They will only be fusing together.
So, sir, the other chromosomes which are present in the different cells of the body, they just
Hmm.
um, need for the genes, right? Different type of characteristics that will be passed on to the next generation.
Yeah. See, I got it. What you're saying. See, let me explain it further. See, what happens. This one is clear now. First of all, get this concept clear. Like cells in the bones, in the muscles, in the hairs, in the heart, in the brain, every cells will be having 46 chromosomes. Let's keep that simple. Furthermore, now when you look at the ovum, which will be having 23 chromosomes, sperm, it would also be having 23 chromosomes. Now what happens now? In this ovum, the first 22 chromosomes, the first 22 chromosomes would look similar to each other, and it will contain all the physical traits or all the traits from this female. How the female looks, what is her or what is her um, color of the eye, how her hair looks like, etc. Bodily features, etc. Like that. Getting it? While the 23rd chromosome, it will be taking part in reproduction particularly. It will be different from other chromosomes. Try to understand.
Yes, sir.
Same thing is seen in the case of sperm also. Like the first 22 chromosomes would be identical to each other. All of them would be identical, while the 23rd chromosome will be different. It's like that. But let's cut it short and let's keep it simple. The simple thing is that a cell, in human body which is not taking part in reproduction would have 46 chromosomes. As simple as that. Okay. While these two cells, these two sex cells, egg and the sperm, ovum and the sperm will have 23 chromosomes, 23 chromosomes, right? When these two will combine together, it will form zygote. And then it will further form 46 chromosomes. Getting it? So now the number of chromosomes are restored. Got this? In
Yes, sir.
class 10th, you would be studying about this chapter in detail. You would be learning about it in much detail. Okay, no? So many interesting things are there. In class 11th also, I believe we'd be studying about this. Getting it, guys? Okay. So it is there. Chromosomes are found in it. Further, in the chromosomes, you have got DNA. You all would have somewhere seen structures like this. Double helical structure of DNA. Yes, that is DNA. Getting it? So DNA are found in the chromosomes. DNA are found in the chromosomes. So here you have this. Let me first erase some of the things over here. This one, this one. Hmm. So here you have got this chromosome, which will somewhat look like this. So that is chromosome. And if you were to further zoom it out, this will look like this. So that is DNA. That is DNA. So nucleus will contain thread-like structures called as chromosome, and chromosomes will contain DNA in it. Furthermore, this DNA will further, if you were to divide it, then you will get to see genes. Further, we'll be having genes. Is that much clear to everyone or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. Hmm. So nucleus, we can either say that nucleus contains chromosome, or we can also say that nucleus contains DNA, because or we can also say that nucleus contains genes, because all of them are found at the same place now. So we can say that. Also, since the number of chromosomes are half here, it is being shuffled here. It is half, so thereby the number of DNA is also halved, found in half numbers in ovum and sperm. Okay, getting it, guys. Yes, if you're getting it now. So
Yes.
write down what I would be writing over here. Okay, no, that would be relevant, and try to memorize the definition as well. So sexual reproduction, it involves two parents whose DNA is shuffled. Huh? It is shuffled or it is cut in half in numbers, and thereby when the male and female sex cells would be fusing, thereby it would lead to formation of zygote and further will develop into an embryo. Got this, everyone? Got this, everyone?
No.
Not getting it. Who isn't? Who is not getting it? Please let me know.
Sir, can you write that? Sir, can you repeat it?
Yeah. See what I was saying. What we have learned moments ago about sexual reproduction. That in a sexual reproduction, first basic criteria is that two organisms are required. Right. Two organisms are required in this. One male and one female. Furthermore, in this two kind of sex cells, namely the male and female sex cells, they would be fusing together. It would be fusing together, and its fusion will further lead to development of a zygote. Getting it, guys? So talking about sexual reproduction, the reproduction of a new organism from two parents by making use of their sex cells, it is called as sexual reproduction. So I'm going to keep it simple for you, because some of the concepts you are required to learn in higher classes. So just learn that much which is required for you guys. Okay, now? So write down this definition. The production of a new organism of a new organism from two parents by making use of their sex cells. By the way, the sex cells are also called as gametes. They are also called as gametes. Gametes. Okay, now they are also called as gametes. Okay, keep that in mind. So by making use of their sex cells or gametes is called sexual reproduction.
Sir,
Yes.
do chromosomes determine a person's gender?
Yeah, of course it determines the gender of the person. Of course. Mhm. Okay, no. So chromosome has got a role to play in sex determination of a child. Getting it now, whether it be a male child or whether it be female. Actually, it's the type of it's the male parent that determines the gender of a child. Usually, what do you see? Like biologically speaking, I will be explaining this in a minute. Biologically speaking, guys, male will be responsible for the gender of the child. But here in India or in here in India, Indian society, what do you see? To this day, in certain parts of India, in particular villages where they would be having some taboos, practices, and old beliefs. So the birth of a girl child would be considered as a bad woman in certain illiterate households. Huh? But biologically speaking, the gender of the unborn child is determined by actually the male parent. You'll be learning about it in detail. Keep that in mind. Okay. Everyone done with this definition?
Yes.
Okay, good. Another thing you would be writing down that gamete cells contain half the number of chromosomes. Half the number of chromosomes in it. Write down this much and do let me know. By the way, guys, what are the examples of organisms in which this would be observed? This sexual reproduction?
Sir, humans, cockroaches.
Hmm. And frogs, yes,
Elephant.
fishes, elephants, etc. The list is too long to write here. Okay. Do let me know once everyone has written it down.
Sir, after frog, what is that?
Fishes, elephants, etc.
Okay, okay, sir.
Done, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
If anyone's left, please let me know. Okay. In a moment, we'd be coming back to the topic of sexual reproduction. But just give you guys a brief about the asexual reproduction also. Right now, like moments ago, we had talked about chromosomes and all that. So, in that perspective, how asexual reproduction is different. So, asexual reproduction, it would involve only one parent whose DNA would be exactly copied, to the new organism. Like, for example, you have one organism over here, so thereby DNA would replicate. DNA would replicate, And furthermore, all the parts of the body, like the cytoplasm found inside the cell, nucleus found inside the cell, like this in circle inside this that you see, that is nucleus. Apart from nucleus, you have cytoplasm also. So cytoplasm will divide in equal amounts. Nucleus will split into two halves, and thereby it will give birth to two identical cells called as daughter cells. Such a kind of reproduction is seen in amoeba, which is a protozoan, right? So you have this amoeba. First of all, nucleus will start to divide in this. As you can see here, this dot that you see over here, purple dot. So that is dividing. Nucleus divides. Furthermore, cytoplasm is also dividing. Other contents of the cells will also divide, and then finally it splits into two halves. Thereby, you have two identical daughter cells. Like this one is this and this one. Both of them are identical in physical appearance and genetically also they are identical in both the ways. Getting it, guys? In both the ways, they are identical to each other. Is that much clear to everyone now? So asexual reproduction, we define it as this one. This type of reproduction. Meanwhile, keep on writing the definition as well. So this type of reproduction requires only one parent, whose DNA is copied exactly, and thereby gives birth to identical offsprings. Gives birth to identical offsprings, which are also exact copies of the parent. Like in the following example, see, these are the daughter cells, and if you were to look at the parent cell, aren't they also identical to the parent cell? Isn't that the case here? Yes, you guys tell me.
Yes,
So
sir.
daughter cells are identical to each other while they're identical to their parents as well. Write down this definition, then we'll be continuing further. Furthermore, in what type of organisms it is going to take place? The one common example you have here in the image, that is amoeba, right? Then you have hydra also. Okay, na?
Sir, bacteria have binary fission, right?
Bacteria also very good. Binary fission. Very good. BINARY, binary fission. Oh, sorry, I meant to say bacteria. Actually, that's a method of reproduction in it. So we have bacterias. So you have once that kind of example there, right?
So
So
fungi.
fungi also very good. Fungi would be reproducing via their spores, right? So asexual reproduction is such a mode of reproduction in which new offspring is produced by just a single parent. New individuals that are produced will be genetically and physically also identical to each other and also to their parents also. That is, they are clones of their parents, right? Clones of their parents. Furthermore, another characteristic of this asexual reproduction is that it is observed in both unicellular and multicellular organisms. Got this now? Observant both the organisms, whether it be unicellular or multicellular, right? For example, you have one such organism like yeast. That would be that is a unicellular organism, or like you have a bacteria or you have an amoeba. These are multicellular now, right? While fungi, some fungi are, apart from yeast, some of the fungi are multicellular, like penicillium or rhizopus, Getting it now? They are some of the multicellular. So asexual reproduction can take place in both unicellular and multicellular organisms. Now, previously we have learned, just hold on for a few seconds. Like here, the sex cells or the gametes, they are fusing now. They are fusing. Fusing means joining together, combining together. But in the case of asexual reproduction, no such thing takes place. So another thing you'd be writing down that it does not involve fusion of gametes. Khadija, what is gametes? What are gametes?
So there's the sex cells.
Sex cells. Good. Later on, we would be learning about it in detail. Right now, I'm just giving you a brief of this concept. Later on, we would be learning about some characteristics of asexual reproduction in detail. What are the different types of asexual reproduction? Like we'd be learning about binary fission. We'd be learning about fragmentation. We would be learning about regeneration. We'd be learning about spore formation.
So are fertilization and fusion the same thing?
Fertilization and fusing. Yeah, it's the same thing basically.
Yes.
Hmm. Technically, both are the same thing. Do let me know once you guys are done.
No.
Hmm. See, uh, some of the advantages are also there for asexual reproduction. Like it is very efficient in this manner, like it will lead to growth of thousands and probably in some cases up to lakhs of organisms at the same time, right? So it is kind of efficient in that manner, right? Also, you guys tell me, like if this amoeba, which is the parent, if it has some genetic problems, there are some defects in this or some deficiencies in this, so all of its deficiencies will also be carried on to its daughter also, to the daughter cells also. Thereby the daughter cells can be weak. Got this now what I'm saying? Yes, Yakrika?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all of you done writing this down?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Previously, we have learned about this differences between sexual and asexual reproduction. Just to quickly give you a recap of this, we have learned this is uniparental, this is biparental. Furthermore, in asexual reproduction, somatic cells are involved, while in sexual reproduction, germ cells are involved. Now, here are two new terms which you guys would not have heard before. Like, what are germ cells and somatic cells? So, simply speaking, somatic cells, first of all, learn about these cells. Somatic cells are those types of cells which are non-sexual in nature. These are the s- different types of cells found in the different parts of the human body or in bodies of other organisms as well. Getting it? Meaning that they are non-sexual cells or non-gamete cells, and they do not contribute in the office creation of the offsprings. Huh? Meaning that they are not going to take part in fertilization event, right? While then you have germ cells. So germ cells would be those cells that would be taking part in the fertilization event. So germ cells would be those cells, namely it would be sperm and ovum. Basically, we are actually referring to the gamete cells now. Hmm, gamete cells. So that is the thing. Well, somatic cells would be the cells apart from the sperm and ovum cells found in the different part of the body. Like for example, to give you guys a better clarity, somatic cells, it would be the cells like for examples, like blood cells. Do blood cell has got any role to play with reproduction? In the case of sexual reproduction, obviously no. But in the cases of uh, but some other but the somatic cells of like this amoeba, hmm, like the somatic cells of this amoeba, it would be taking part in the reproduction. But that doesn't happen in the case of the sexual reproduction. Like in humans, their blood cells has got no role to play. Hmm. So you have blood cells or you have muscle cells. So these are the somatic cells. Is that clear to both of you or not, or to everyone or not? Please tell me.
Sir, I didn't understand.
Okay.
I also need.
No worries. See, somatic cells are basically any kind of cells in a multicellular organism that are not involved in the process of reproduction. In the case of multicellular organisms like the humans, the frogs, etc., most of them, or wherever sexual reproduction is going to take place. So there, somatic cells are not involved. Somatic cells are not involved. Like in the case of humans, the only cells that take part in the fertilization event are the gamete cells. Huh? Gamete cells, basically the male and the female sex cells, that is basically sperm and ovum. Getting it? While in our body we have bone cells, muscle cells, blood cells, nerve cells, etc. That doesn't have got any function to perform. Is that much clear now? I haven't completed it yet. Is that
Sir,
much clear
can you
now?
repeat it?
Mhm. What are we saying? That germ cells are those cells that would take part in sexual reproduction. Like you have male and female sex cells, namely the sperm and ovum. Hmm? Sperm and ovum. That is what the germ cells are. So that would fuse together and form and will take part in sexual reproduction. Also, germ cells like sperm and ovum are very few as compared to other cells in the body, like muscle cells or bone cells or the nerve cells are much more in number as compared to the sperm and ovum cells. Getting it?
Clear, sir.
Like for example, um, every month one or two ovum cells are released in the female body. Every month we get to see that. Usually, one ovum cell would be released in the menstrual cycle, like that. So as compared to that, the number of germ cells as compared to the bone or muscles are very less, right? For example, that is one thing. While in the case of this amoeba, for example, it does not produces any sex cells, nor does it produces sperm and ovum, anything like that. Yes, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
It does
No,
not.
sir. Yes, sir.
It does not produces any such thing. huh? So thereby, all the cells in its body are non-sexual in nature. Just like the muscle cells in our body are non-sexual in nature. Thereby, all the cells found in this organism will also be asexual, and it will be somatic in nature. Somatics, we will call them as somatic cells. Somatic, we can call them as somatic part of its body. Or you have, for example, since this is a unicellular organism, we can take a example of some other organism. Like you can take certain examples of some hydra, or you can take examples of some other fungi. Huh? So say, for example, you have a fungi like this, let us say. Hmm. So in this, the different parts, different cells of the body, all of them would be somatic cell. Getting it?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, now. Furthermore, in sexual reproduction, we have learned it will involve the formation and fusion of gametes. Basically, sex cells will be, first of all, formed in their body. Like once the, like in the age of adolescence, you guys would have learned about this age of puberty. For those of you who have learned that chapter, like in the male child, at the age of around 12, 13, or 14, when he is in teenage, so thereby the formation of male sex cells will start. Getting it? While in the case of the female child, huh, the ovum is already present present in the ovary since the birth of the child, but it is at the puberty only that in the menstrual cycle it is released. So that's a different case. So formation and fusion of gametes takes place in sexual reproduction, while in asexual reproduction, no such thing happens. Getting it? No female or male sex cells. Furthermore, in asexual reproduction, we have learned that they are genetically similar, just like you had the example of amoeba. In asexual reproduction, they would be genetically dissimilar. Rate of reproduction is slower in the case of sexual reproduction, while in asexual reproduction, it is comparatively much faster. As you can look at this over here. By the way, now we have now finished the general discussion regarding sexual and asexual reproduction. Okay, now we have just finished the general discussion regarding the two concepts. Now let us learn about them in detail. Okay, now let us learn about them in detail. So see, in the chapter, we have to learn about both of them. The first of both sexual and asexual reproduction. So in the first part, we would be dealing only with the sexual reproduction. Okay, everyone? We'd be learning about sexual
Yes, sir.
reproduction right now. First, and particularly, we'd be talking about reproduction in the case of man, in the case of humans. So in this, you'd be learning about stages of sexual reproduction. What are the stages of sexual reproduction? In how many? Yeah, in how many stages sexual reproduction takes place? We would be learning about the male reproductive system in this. Furthermore, you'd be learning about the female reproductive system. Then we would be continuing further with the stage number one. That is, first of all, stage number one would involve formation of the male and female sex cells. There we'll be a little bit talking about puberty and all that. Then in stage number two, you'll be learning about fertilization, when the male and female sex cells would fuse together. Then you'll be learning about post-fertilization event, meaning that what once the male and female cells have fused together, after then what happens. Got this now? So let us start from stages of sexual reproduction. Okay, give this topic, write this topic, stages of sexual reproduction. First of all, you will write pre-fertilization event. Next, you would be writing, next you would be writing about fertilization. Third would be post-fertilization event. Write down these 3 points. See, so in the pre-fertilization event, the event before the fertilization takes place. So obviously it would first of all involve the formation of male and female sex cells, right? It would involve the formation. So first of all, gametes will be produced. It will be like with the male parent would be producing the sperm cells, while the female parents would be producing eggs. That is basically ovum. That is what the pre-fertilization events means, that event before fertilization. Getting it, guys? Event before fertilization. All of you have written this much now? So
Yes, sir.
pre-fertilization event. So in this, write down this. In this, the production of gametes, namely sperm, which is the male gamete cell, and ovum, which is the female gamete cells. So in this, the production of gametes, sperm and ovum, takes place in the male and female reproductive organs. In the male and female reproductive organ. Okay. In the male and female reproductive organ. So it's the production of male and female gametes. So before fertilization, the pre-fertilization, we can understand it in two terms. If you guys remember, in the beginning, I did told you there was a topic of gametogenesis. Somewhere I would have written here. Here, gametogenesis is there. So we would be learning that thing over here. See, gametogenesis, this term gametogenesis, which I'm using here, it's the formation of male and female gamete cells. It's the formation of male and female gamete cells. Write this term, gametogenesis. So it is the formation, or simply speaking, it is the process of formation of male and female gamete cells. So it is basically a term, right? So it's the process of formation of male and female gamete cells. Like in the chapter, you would have studied in the case of reproduction in plants. There you would have studied like male gametes are formed inside the anther of the flower. Remember that? For those of you who have studied that, while
Like
you would have
pollen grains, right?
pollen grains, exactly, right now. But this now, while where would be the formation of the female gamete cells would take place inside the flower?
Stigma.
Stigma is specifically what is the name? That is ovules now.
Ovary.
Inside the ovary, that is ovules. Inside the ovules actually. So gametogenesis is the production of gametes, right now. And in animals and in higher plants, two genetically different sex cells are formed right now. In most of the animals, particularly. Everyone done writing this?
Yes, sir.
If anyone is left, please let me know. Now write about stage number 2, that is the fertilization event. So fertilization is the process where the male and female gametes would be fused to create zygote. To create a zygote. As you can see over here, like this female and the male sperms are fusing together to form a zygote. Also, previously, moments ago, we have learned that the number of chromosomes in a ovum is 23, and in that of a sperm is also 23. While when they would be fusing, 23 plus 23 would be how much? It would be 46 in number.
46.
46 now, right? So when the number of normally in all the cells of the human body, apart from the sperm and ovum, the number of chromosomes are 46 actually, right? So when the number of chromosomes are 46, it is called to be a diploid cell. Diploid cell, meaning that they have got 46 chromosomes. Now, in the case of sperm and ovum, it is half. No, it is basically halved. So thereby, sperm and ovum, they are called as haploid cells. Getting it, Chakrika, Khadija, Gauri, and Alif?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let me repeat this again. The somatic cells in the body. Somatic cells, the cells that do not take part in the fertilization. So in them, the number of chromosomes are complete, full. That is 46. So thereby they are called the diploid cell. While the number of chromosomes are halved in the case of haploid, in the cases of sperm and ovum, hence they are called as haploid cells. So write down this thing somewhere in your copy. Make a box like this and write it down there. Okay. Now, talking about the definition. So fertilization, it's the process when, can I say haploid male gamete cell?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Hmm. We can say that. Everyone understanding this term now? Haploid male gamete cell. Basically, we are referring to. Basically, we are referring to what?
Sperm cell.
Sperm cells. Yes. So process when haploid male gamete cell will fuse with haploid female gamete cell to form a a diploid zygote. Can we say that? Look at the number of chromosomes in a zygote. Yes, Khadija.
Yes, sir.
How many chromosomes are in a zygote? Yeah,
46.
46. Very good. Okay. No? Furthermore, what would happen? This zygote gets embedded into the womb of the mother. Furthermore, it will start to multiply. Also, this zygote is a single cell structure. Okay, no? It is just made up of one cell. You can write it somewhere. Let me add this over here. Single cell. Furthermore, the cells in it will start to multiply. It will start to multiply. Furthermore, cells will segregate. Cells will segregate, and some of the cells will segregate to form tissues, which would later on form different organs, like heart, kidneys. Some of the tissues will further later on segregate and specialize to form some other parts of the body like that.
Sir,
Yes.
so can you explain pre-fertilization and haploid cell?
Haploid cells. Okay, let me first of all explain the haploid cells. See, in all the parts of the body, in all the cells found in the different parts of the body, the number of chromosomes found in them is 46 actually. So any cells in our body, it will be having 46 except for sperm and the ovum cells. Sperm in the male and ovum in the female, right? So the number of chromosomes are 46, so thereby it is called as diploid cells. But in the cases of sperm and the ovum, here you see the number of chromosomes are halved. It is 23 and 23. So then it is called as haploid cells. Getting it? Okay.
Yes, sir.
And talking about post-fertilization event in humans, see what happens here in the post-fertilization event in the human, what would be happening? See, first of all, for fertilization to take place, presence of male and female sex cells are important, right? That is the basic criteria. Sperm cells are required, ovums are required. So post-fertilization event would involve the production of gametes. Like when does the formation of gametes takes place in the male child? Moments ago, I did told you when the male child has reached the age of around 12 or 13, then the male reproductive part of the male child will start to produce sex cells. Getting it? When the male child has reached puberty, then the sperms will start to produce. Getting it now? Like testes are there, you'd be learning about it later on. Like testes are there in the male reproductive organ that would be responsible for sperm production, and sperm production will not take place until the male child has reached the age of 12. So all that is the post fertilization event before fertilization. Getting it?
Yes, sir.
Is that clear to is that clear now? Good. Also, talking about the female gametes. The female gametes, surprisingly, it is present at birth also, but at that time the ovum is immature and it is stored in the ovaries. It is stored in the ovaries and the sperms are immature. Getting it now? So ovaries are actually present since the birth of the female child. Ovum I mean to say is actually present in the ovaries since the birth of the female child, but at that time it is immature right now. So that is the case. Everyone has written it down, no? Others who are sitting
Yes, sir.
quiet. Good. So next class now we'll be learning about um fertilization. Okay, now how fertilization takes place. We're learning about that in detail. Okay, but before fertilization, first of all, we have to learn about the male reproductive system as well. I'm giving all of you one task that if you have your NCERT textbook, from that, memorize the important terminologies, memorize the names of the different parts of the male reproductive part. Okay, now, like this is basically the bladder. This part is called a seminal vesicle. Just try to identify the names of the parts. Later on, we'll be learning about their function in detail. Okay, now. Okay, if anyone has any question, please do let me know.
Sir, I didn't understand the pre-fertilization.
Pre-fertilization. Okay. See, basically pre-fertilization, like before the fusion of this ovum or sperm has to take place, the production of the sperm and the ovum in the body of male and female is first of all required now. If there is no sperm and no ovum, how will the fertilization take place? How will they fuse? So first of all, sperm has to be formed in the body. So when a male child reaches the age of 12 years, so at that time, the testes starts to produce sperm. So that's a event before fertilization.
Sure.
Before, yes,
Okay, sir.
So that is like basically the age of adolescence, right?
age of adolescence, basically, yeah. Age of
Yes, sir.
adolescence, basically, that's the thing. Also, who had asked this question? Gauri or Khadija? See,
Sir, Gauri asked it.
okay, yeah. So what about the female sex cells? So female sex cell, that is ovum, it is present in the ovary. Since the birth of the female child, it is present in their body, but at that time it is immature. Right now, like the sperm cells that are released by the male child at the age of 12, it is fully matured. Almost it is fully matured. So it can actually fertilize a ovum right now. But the thing is that the ovum the ovum is the ovum in the female children. It would be only mature once the children has reached the age of puberty, when they are in the 13 or 12, 13 or 14 years of age. At that time only. Okay, no. So that is the thing. Also,
Okay,
like
sir.
in puberty, what you will be studying, like in that the age of puberty, it's that age where you not only get to see the physical changes in the body, but also the male and female humans are now ready for the fertilization event. Like the fertilization can take place at that time. So that's the thing. Okay, so that's it for today. From here, we'll be continuing in the next class. All right.
Yes.
If anyone has any question, you can ask me, because other students haven't joined yet. So please, if any question, please let me know.
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, then so that's it for today, guys.
Bye, sir.
Thank you,
Yes,
sir.
bye.
Bye, sir.
Yes, welcome. Bye.